Hello and welcome to lesson 4. During this lesson, we are going to talk a little bit about the needs of your individual child and hence how you can look at their academic interests, their talents, their passions, and how to encompass these within your school research process. So, what are we going to cover in this lesson? First of all, we're going to talk about what might your broad criteria be for a boarding school. Does your child have a particular need or talent that needs nurturing? What is on your wish list for your child or children if you indeed are looking for boarding school places for more than one child? And then we're going to look at the logistics, really, the location, transport links, and other family commitments, because although those aren't necessarily child focused, they are very much family focused. And in my experience, looking for boarding schools for hundreds of families over the years, the logistics and all of that bit are just as important, really, the family needs as those of the child. So first of all, we're going to talk through what you might need to discuss in terms of your general criteria for your boarding school search. So the first thing might be what type and size of boarding are you looking for? So are you living abroad and hence full boarding 7 days a week with a 7-day-a-week program is really important for you? Or are you perhaps a more local family looking for boarding within an hour of home, where perhaps you might be looking for a flexi boarding solution or a weekly boarding solution? So are you perhaps looking for a co-ed or a single sex school? Are you looking for a co-ed sixth form, or are you looking for a sixth form college? Is it important to you what ages the school offers? So, for example, if you have siblings, you might have younger children and older children. So you might be looking for a prep school, which goes through to senior school, where your children can be in the same school. Or you might be looking for an independent prep school and then aspiring for a change of school when your child reaches 11, 13 or 16. Do you think your child will thrive in a school which has a traditional feel, or a school which has perhaps a more modern, less formal feel? How international do you want the school to be, or do you want it to be predominantly British? Are you looking for a school which has a recognisable brand name, or is brand name not really important for you as long as the school matches up with the needs of your child? It's really important to think about the subjects that your child is interested in and make sure that these are offered. So, for example, there might be a particular GCSE subject, a particular A-level subject. You might feel that your child is more suited to BTECs rather than A-levels, which is a more vocational qualification. So does the school that you are looking at offer BTECs as well as A-levels in sixth form? Or do you want to keep your options open and hence be looking at a school that offers maybe the IB and the A-level in sixth form in case your child may like to do the IB instead of A-level? Is English your child's second language, and hence do you need intensive English or English as an additional language support? Do you hope to try for a scholarship or apply for a bursary? And we talked in detail in the previous lesson about how to consider that. What sort of boarding house format do you feel would suit your child best? So horizontal or vertical? That means horizontal means where the children are in boarding houses where every child is the same age, and then they move to a different boarding house the next year with a different housemaster, housemistress. Or a vertical boarding house would be where there are children of all ages in the same boarding house, and they stay in that boarding house for most of their time, if not all of their time in the school. Likewise, are you looking for a school which offers in-house family dining within the boarding house, or for a school with a central dining system where the children go to a central dining room to eat? Are you aiming for a particular senior school at 13 plus, and hence you're looking for a boarding feeder prep school, in which case it's important to look for a school which has a good track record and experience to nurture your child for the future entry process. So, for example, if you would like your son in an ideal world to go to Radley at 13, then you would need to be looking for a feeder prep school at age 8, or maybe your son is already 10 or 11 and you're looking for 3 years in a prep school. But again, it's important to look for a school which has a good track record and experience to nurture your son towards his application for Radley. So let's start to think now about your child-centered wish list. It's really important, firstly, to look at the academic level of your child and matching that up to the academic level of the school. So you want your child to be challenged to make sure that they can achieve the best academic qualifications that they are capable of, but at the same time, you don't want them to sink. So talking to your current school head and teachers about the realistic level for your child is really important. Do you feel that your child will thrive best in a large school with lots of competition and challenge? Or do you feel your child would thrive better in a smaller school with lots of opportunity to shine? We've talked in previous lesson about big fish, small pond. Is that the type of opportunity you would like for your child? Or do you feel that they need a large school with lots of opportunity, lots of other pupils, and hence lots of competition and challenge? Do you feel that they have a particular talent or interest that needs nurturing, and hence looking for a school with a strong reputation in sport, in music, in art, in drama? Perhaps your child wants to ride horses in 3-day eventing to a high level. It's really important to take into account what those talents, passions, and interests are and match those up to the schools that you're going to be looking at. And does your child have a specific learning need? So, for example, are they dyslexic and hence need a really strong learning support department with an experienced team to support children with dyslexia? Or is English your child's second language, and hence it's really important that you choose a school which has a strong program of English learning support for children who are coming to the boarding school from overseas, whose English is not yet strong enough to access the curriculum at a high level. Next, let's look at what the family wish list might be. League tables are a bit of a controversial thing, but we have to mention them here. So what I mean here by league tables or value-added approach, league tables are published annually in lots of different places, usually in the autumn, September, October. There are league tables which compare schools on the basis of their performance in A-level, or league tables which compare schools based on their performance at GCSE. But there are also important comparisons made in terms of the value-added approach, which would be my preference. So if you are a highly selective school, which perhaps has 9 applications per place for your intake, you would expect those schools to be at the top of the academic league tables. However, what I think is truly exceptional is a school which perhaps has fewer applications per place and yet still enables every child to achieve exceptional exam grades, and hence the value added that they're putting in terms of the children's abilities when they arrive versus what they achieve when they leave could be much greater in a value-added approach to league tables rather than a purely academic exam result focused league tables. So beware of league tables. They're a good resource, and I do talk about these a bit more later, but use them wisely. Understand how they are comparing schools. Do you have any family traditions, connections with the past? So a school perhaps grandfather or father might have gone to. And then also, as I mentioned earlier, are you looking for your child to apply to a particular senior school, for example, at 13 plus to enter year 9? And hence, is it really important to find a feeder prep school which has experience and a good track record for gaining places at that school? Does your child have friends in their peer group who are going to particular schools? I'm not recommending spending huge amounts of time consulting your child at this stage. Later in the process, we will talk about involving your child, but at these early days, it's good to keep your focus on following a process for research and then consulting your child later. But it would be a wise idea, in my experience, just to look at, are there any particular schools where best friend might be going to, or any other family members or siblings. And then also to listen to, but not take as gospel truth, the recommendations of other parents and what you are hearing at a dinner party. Because parents' experiences are really important of a school, but there will always be good and bad experiences. And so some things should be taken with a pinch of salt, and some things should be listened to, and you take them into account. But don't let dinner party banter and other parent recommendations put you off doing your own research in relation to what's best for your child as an individual. And then, as I've already mentioned, siblings' current schools or planning for their future. So, for example, if you have girls and boys in your family, then sometimes it can be wise to look at co-ed schools if your preference would be for your children to go to the same school. Committing to single-sex schools when you have boys and girls in your family may well mean quite a lot of driving in different directions. And that is maybe right for your family. And it may be something that you feel is something that you'd like to commit to, but it's just something to bear in mind as part of your thought process. So that moves us on quite nicely to location and logistics. If you live overseas and your child is going to be coming to boarding school in the UK, then proximity to the right airport or train links with a commute to London might be important to you. And so those are important things to factor in when it comes to your initial research. If you live overseas and one of your family members or a colleague is going to be your UK-based guardian, then obviously their location is going to be quite important, because in an ideal world, you'd like your guardian, your emergency contact, to be no more than an hour away from the school. Sometimes you may have a preferred region of the UK. So, for example, you may have a second home if you live in London, or you may wish to travel to watch sports matches or concerts or anything else that your child may be doing at school. And so proximity to your home or your second home, if you live in London, could be an important factor to bear in mind to ensure that you can engage with your child's education at the level at which you would like to be involved without spending your life in the car or on a train. And then the other thing to think about in terms of location is whether you feel that your child is going to be more at home in a countryside location where the school may be in a beautiful campus, large campus, but it's necessary to go on the bus or a school minibus to go to a shop, or whether you think that them being at a school that is located in a town or a city would suit them better, so that they don't feel quite so cut off. So if you go to the resources section for this module, you will find a fairly detailed checklist for general school criteria. And this is aimed at helping you with your discussion. So first of all, download and print the checklist, and then work your way down each point on the checklist discussing it and deciding how important it is to you. And spending a bit of time on this checklist will really help you to keep your focus when you are looking at a potential list of schools, because in years and years and years of doing what I've been doing, advising families on choosing boarding schools, what really does come out at the end of the process in terms of the parents choosing a school is the general criteria that you talk about at the beginning. So what type of school is right for your child, married up with what meets the needs of siblings, other family members, and the logistics in terms of proximity to home and airports, etc. So use this checklist carefully to really drill down to the nitty-gritty of the important factors to you and to your child as an individual. As soon as you've been through all the sections and you've made some decisions, you will really find that your mind is clearer on an initial picture of the type of boarding school that you're looking for. And you really will find that this will make your research far easier when we move to the next module. So it's really important that you don't skip this step. By the time you finish this module and move on to the next module, you really need to have a clear idea in your mind, a focused idea in your mind of the type of boarding that you're looking for, any locations that might be important, any needs that your child may need to have supported, any particular talents and interests, whether you're going to try for a scholarship or a bursary, whether you're aiming for a particular senior school at 13 and hence need a feeder prep school. All these decisions that you're going to be making and talking through as you run through that checklist are going to help you get a clear and focused picture in your mind that will make the research process easy. So spend some time on it and discuss each point carefully to help you get that clear picture in your mind. And I will look forward to seeing you in the next module.